All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode in Established. Um, Today, we'll talk about a few things, mostly in failures, because failure is the one that we all fear. So, why not confront it, right? Um, I had, I have horrible allergies for that reason. I'm drinking Pedialyte today. So, I'm going to switch it up a little and have some Pedialyte. It tastes better. It's healthier for you when you have allergies that are controlling your body and don't let you think straight. So it's been a pretty rough weekend, but I did work on my porch and I painted it, power washed it. So that was fun. That was a good weekend work. And you know, you gotta do something with the weekend. You gotta motivate yourself to do stuff when you're free from work, if you're free from work. Um, the Lakers are going to the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if you guys watching hockey, but the Kraken, they're pretty good. The Kraken are pretty much out of the game, but they're pretty good. Don't like them. I just found out the Seattle Kraken, so I have nothing to do with them. But I'm a Rangers fan, but I like the word Kraken, so they got beat. I don't know who beat them. Don't really care because I don't watch hockey like that. Baseball, blah 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 blah. Yankees are losing. I don't know where the Mets are, but normally people don't care anyway. So I'm a Yankee fan. Tampa's on top. That's all that matters right now is that we're losing. And finally, um, everything around the world, there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of guns, and it's a shame that a lot of people still want guns when they shouldn't be using guns. Once you have a gun, you put yourself in a predicament. Yeah, there's a chance that if you have a gun, it makes it equal in a fight. If someone pulls out a gun, you pull out a gun. But um, if no one has guns, then you're gonna have to fist fight each other to death or do something else, or find another alternative to solve the problem. Guns don't solve issues; they create problems. This episode is about failure, right? And in order to understand failure for many people, I'm not gonna say I'm a genius. I don't know about failure. I'm just gonna tell you from personal experience what failure is to me. Um, when I was young, um, my as a young at 4 years old, my brothers would put me to do push-ups, right? Do push-ups, and I would do push-ups till they were like do 20. I was 4 years old. I would do 20 push-ups, and they would do 50. Now that's for me was like moving up. I tried to do 50, and then by myself when I wasn't around them, I tried to keep in tight, keep in shape, so I could do my push-ups when they asked me to do them. I would be ready, right? Um, that goes with punching. I was punching a block of ice at 5 years old, punching a block of ice, and just punch it till you bleed and your knuckles go out. Never used it, right? I was raised like if I was going to be a fighter, and never used my powers that I was both my abilities that was enhancing. Right, I was improving in my punching. I was good at dodging. I was always into boxing. 4 or 5. Once I went to school, once I was in elementary, first grade, kindergarten, I was bullied. You know, I couldn't fight back, and I would go home and I would beat up. I was beat up by not only boys but girls. I was bullied. I was bullied hard. I was scrawny. I wouldn't eat much, but I had a lot of energy, so it looked like I could move, but I was afraid. I was afraid, and I'd get home and they'd see me, and I'd get home crying and be like, "Who?" I'd be like, nothing." But my older brother, he'd be like, he got beat up at school, and then they're like, "Well, you gotta man up." Felt like that was like the beginning of what failure would feel like. But in this instance, it wasn't even failure because I never felt like I was gonna succeed in anything like fighting. So fighting was never in my vocabulary. I was boxing. I was practicing boxing. I was raised in it, but I never felt boxing was gonna mediate anything. So I never felt like boxing, like hitting somebody else would make it even, like it was gonna work out. I was afraid. I don't know what I was afraid of. I wasn't afraid of getting hit, but I was afraid of just like the altercation, like the adrenaline level going up, like me being in the altercation where I'm gonna put my fist up and I'm gonna challenge somebody. It kept going. First grade, I was bullied, picked on again. Second grade again, and then third grade hits, and I am like, you know what? I'm just gonna swing once. I'm gonna hit back. I've been getting hit, been bullied. Everybody picks on me. I'm pretty fast. I could do a bunch of stuff. I'm really athletic, but I never want to hit back, right? Well, that one day during lunch, one of the kids picked on me in school, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna swing and do whatever I gotta do. Mind you, I've been breaking piece of ice with my fist, and I've been dodging punches from then 14-year-old, 15-year-old. So I've been getting punched my entire life. Third grade comes, I come and beat the crap out of this kid. Like I beat him up. Like my hands are quick, and I'm hitting and I'm cutting face. I'm punching, I'm hitting hard, and I'm not missing. And that was the beginning of me becoming an anti-bully. All right, sorry, an anti-bully where I fought anybody. After that, I became brave. Courage built up. That didn't mean I succeeded. I wasn't. That wasn't that. This is not to say that I succeeded. I just became brave and had courage to fight back and fight anybody that was picking on anybody else. Right. And that courage led to me getting suspended. Led me to becoming a bully towards other bullies. Led me to getting in trouble. So I thought I was like, yeah, I did something good, but that wasn't a success. That was just overcoming a traumatic situation, and that led to myself becoming more of a bully towards other people. So that was not considered success, but that could have led to failure because in school I started, focusing more on on people. Like I would not take shit from anybody. So if I don't care how big you were, how old you were, who you were, I'd choke you out. I'd knock you out if I could. I was not afraid of getting hit because I've been hit my whole life. So I took that into my life. But that was not success, and definitely that was leading me towards failure. But what is failure for me? Isn't that I was beating up on people, or wasn't that when I was getting beaten because I didn't know I could punch back? Failure for me was the goal that I set for myself, which happened after I was like 11. Like every year, I had a goal. As a matter of fact, every year as a child, I always wanted to improve in something in my class. So I wanted to become better in math, better at reading, my writing, hold my composure more. Those were goals that, for me, were important. And if I didn't meet those expectations, that would have felt like I had failed. So for me, the failure was more of a goal that I set for myself every year from second grade all the way through college, where I just gave myself something to improve on. And I felt, that if I didn't at least complete it, um, it was somewhat of a failure. Although failure comes in different forms. I did not fail. I think I failed. I think in my life I failed probably three times, and one of them has to do with relationships. So relationships, school, and one in sports, right? That I could remember that I froze and I couldn't do anything in the basketball game. I just couldn't do anything. I was scared. I couldn't move. I was in DR, and I tried to do something, and all I did was just like the ball felt heavy, felt awkward, felt foreign. That for me was failure, and that motivated me never to reach that level of of failure. I don't know, the breaking point, the lowest point in my life. So that was failure in that time. Then I was 12 years old. After I turned 20, after I turned 16, I didn't fail much because I took a different approach to success. But failure comes when you set a goal and they're saying like failure does count. You need to know what failure is. You need to know what the bottom is to be able to move up and rise. So whoever tells you that goals give you failures automatically. A goal sets a failure. It's not a forever failure. It's a goal. We're going to work towards the success. But every year that you don't make it, it's a year closer to that failure because how much you improve equals or tells you how much you didn't improve, right? Failure is about not improving as much. So that's the key. It's not about losing or not winning, defeat. It's not improving as much. So, second grade, I wanted to be better at math. I was horrible at math. Got better. Third grade, first grade, I got left back. Second grade, I was like, I'm not going to get left back again. Even though it wasn't my fault because my mom took me to the R and made me spend 7 months in the R knowing that I needed to go to school in the United States. But she didn't know what else to do with me. So she kept me in DR. No school, just go on your own. Came back in mid March, and by then it was too late for me to pass. I failed that grade. Wanted to repeat it second grade again. I didn't have a choice. But from then on, I made sure I was never going to go through that experience again. So I decided to practice and to learn and to. So what I did with education, I make sure that if I had to take after school programs, I went to classes in the Lower East Side. University Settlement is where I went to, where I learned where you study, you study, you hone your skills, and you try to learn your math, your science, your reading skills, because at home no one's going to help you. So you have to find your own way. And I was like 7 years old when I figured out I had to do things on my own to succeed. And failure was that I repeated the second grade. So my entire life, I always remember repeating the second grade, knowing I could have been in third grade, right? So that was one of the deep failures, which to this day keeps me motivated to continue working on my craft and working hard on everything because someone could take it away for no reason because they don't know what to do. So if I left it in somebody's hands, I would have failed again, over and over again, because some people have no idea what to do, and I let them decide my life. And unfortunately, because I was too young, I couldn't decide my future, and I failed. Another time that I failed, not that I failed, that was a true failure because I didn't pass. Another time was when I was 12 years old. I was in DR again. We were playing basketball, and I I I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't. I practiced. I've been practicing for 2 years. I could jump, but when I played in front of like a mass crowd, which is about let's say 40 people, I froze. I sucked, and I didn't know what to do. The ball felt heavy. If you play any sports, you know what I'm talking about. You hear the sound, but it's not there. Everything is going fast, but you feel like you're going super slow. You grab the ball, and all of a sudden you have like people over you. Like you don't know what you're doing. You're not moving as fast. Everything is caving up on you, and that's another experience that I had. That I was like, I would never want to experience this again. If I play, I don't care what I have to do. I poop in the toilet. I have the jitters, whatever. I'm gonna practice every day. I practice every day, and when discipline is the key to success, the fact that you have to do things over and over again is what leads you to improve and avoid failure because you have to try to avoid failure, but you could reach it easily. There's different forms of failure, there's different levels of failure, but the only failure that I would call it the ultimate failure would be death. Once you die of an overdose, game over. So that's the ultimate failure, is to die. But you got to keep working on yourself. So I kept working. I kept working. I was 14, and I've been, successful in basketball. I'm 5'5". I was able to start dunking like little balls. I could dunk off of, I could dunk off an alley. Like you hand me the ball, I could dunk a ball. I was running really fast. I was like, I made sure I practiced every day. I spent an entire summer just dribbling with my left hand. I had no friends. I have friends, but I was alone a lot. I always alone. I'm always alone. In the real world, I'm always alone. I do everything alone. I practice. I hone my skills. I keep doing the same thing over and over and over and again, because every time you do it, you fail every time. You have to improve. So you got to dribble. You got to dribble 100 times in one day with your left. The next day, you have to dribble 200 times a day. The next time, you have to dribble 300 without missing a beat with your left. Then you have to do moves that you've never done before, things that are so uncomfortable that it aches your abs, everything, because you you you're doing something different. Your body's not used to it. Your body's having to memorize different moves, and you got to keep practicing. You got to keep doing the dirty work when no one sees it. Right? That's what it is. So you're afraid of that moment that you look like an asshole, like a fool. You feel like a fool. Everybody else just saw you like a kid just doing that. But you set your own terms on what failure was. So for my goal was to be better. My goal was what set the failure. So my goal was to score at least 10 points, not freeze, steal the ball, be awake, be alert. So in basketball, I made sure that from then on, I was awake, alert, and I was unafraid. But I put the time on the gym. I had to dedicate time for that, right? And then, and then, you move on. 14, 15, those are the only things you have to worry about, because there's not much to do. You start working, you make a little bit of money, that's nothing, and then you find girls, you start dating, right? And you start dating, and you want to have a family. 2021, you go to school. Remember, you're going through your own set of goals. So your goals, you set them, and as soon as you set your goal, automatically there's a failure there somewhere. You don't see it. It's, but it becomes incentive. It's kind of like implicit. It's an unknown fact that there is something there that will happen if you don't get to that goal. But there's different forms, because I'm gonna tell you that for me, I don't fail much because I set a goal, but I set a goal that makes sense to me, right? And that we're gonna go on. I'm gonna give it to you in the future, in a couple of seconds. So as I was, in the relationship, I was in it. My goal was just to have a family, raise my family, be 24 years old, 27, have my first child, graduate from college, and just move, just go into, move in with a lady. I had been in a previous relationship. It didn't work out, but it was just high school, and I kind of understood the idea, the consequences, and everything that happened. It hurt, but that wasn't supposed to be the one, because it was just, we were too young. But the second one was the one I thought that I could make an improvement on, right? And I liked this person, but after a couple of years, we had the dynamic didn't work out. I didn't understand. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't understand what relationship was still, because I was coming off like a child relationship. But I did have a child, and I had this child, and my goal was to raise my son and everything. But quickly, I found out that I was going to be able to raise my son with this person, because it wasn't going to work out. I did not know how to change. So even though I set goals, I never met the goals. So I just set like a 5 year plan, right? Like a 5 year plan to leave, which was messed up. But I wasn't planning to leave, but just I was hoping that this will be better, right? That something will come up out of nowhere and it will just get way better. So my goal was a fake success, where I was going to be in a relationship and in 5 years either move out or what else. I didn't know what else was, and I would have moved out, and I would have kind of not done what I needed to do to be a great father. I was always wanting to be a father since I was like 12 years old. Love kids, love children, love the energy. Always wanted to have, like, I always dreamt of having like 30 kids. not my kids, but raising 30 kids, I probably would have wanted to have 30. Would have been my idea back then to have 30. If I would have had 30, it would have been, I would have wanted 30 from like ethnically diverse 30, right? So that would have been horrible because I would have been probably a player and been with like 50,000 women in essence to have all these kids, not because I wanted to, just to have all these kids from different, because I wanted to see like United Nations of children. In my mind, that's what I wanted. Many kids, just multicolored, multinational, culturally, ethnically, be together with them. That was just dumb shit. But I could have always adopted it. So I went into the relationship. I failed in this relationship miserably. I cheated. I was messed up. I hit rock bottom. I knew I failed the night of New Year's when I was at my ex, the girl I was cheating on. I was in her house. I had left at 12:20. I had left at 11:45. Took a cab to get home by New Year's. I got home. I see this family quiet, waiting for me. The bell rings. It's 12:30, and I fall on the ground crying, knowing that my goal, my 5 year plan, I just completely shitted on it. Completely. So I wasn't expecting to be single, but I didn't know what else I was gonna do. But quickly I found out that I was gonna be a single man and on child support. And that, because of that stupid consequence. And I didn't stop. I kept going because my 5 year plan was to be successful at something. And the success was for me to dig myself deeper into a horrible, horrible breakup, which ended up in a horrible breakup because I I cheated like 20,000 times, and then the lady just got pissed off at me, and for this, regrets, right? That's what you can have with you is regrets. Technically, don't regret everything, but learn from them because regrets don't help you, but you should learn from them. And these certain things, if you consider them the worst thing in life, you work on it, right? But don't live on regrets because it's not going to help you. But in this situation, this led for me to become the new me. This is the new me now. Don't cheat. This Pedialyte is great. Just in case you like Pedialyte. If you don't like it, it's sweet. This is a mixed fruit. I thought it was orange, but I like orange. So, so I going back. I cheated. I, you know, I was 27 and I was single again. And by then, I was trying to figure things out, but I figured three things in life already. By my time of 27, I've completed three things that I did not want to learn. One was you have to have balls to do whatever you have. You have to believe in yourself, right? You're playing basketball. You're practicing. You want to defend yourself. You don't believe you need to fight anybody, but somebody wants to beat the crap out of you. You're gonna have to have cojones just to learn, you know, that you get hit enough, they're gonna knock you out. They might kill you. So you're gonna have to fight back. So you have to develop courage. Fear is the worst thing. Failure is all based on fear. So I knocked out fear from the get. At 5 years old, six, at 7, 8, I don't know what third grade is. I figured out fear was not going to be part of my life. Not afraid of anything. Not even afraid of death. So cool. Die. Die happy too. I don't want to die soon, but we all know it's coming. Second is just not being prepared. You're not prepared, you're gonna fail. I practiced my butt off to play basketball and understand the game. And any sport I played, I make sure I still to this day make sure I understand the fundamentals before I do anything else. I don't jump into superstar. Nope. I start from the basics. My goal is just learn how to dribble the ball with my right hand, learn how to dribble with my left hand, learn how to pass it through. That takes years. It took me like 10 years to be able to do all this. I was patiently waiting to do each one. I patiently woke up every day and worked at each one till I almost perfected it. Now at my age, it doesn't matter jack, right? But I know the fundamentals where in my mind I could be sleeping, I could be missing a ligament, and I could still do it with the whatever is left over because I practice so much. Finger coordination, everything, right? Hand eye, movement, cadence. There's a bunch of stuff that goes with sports. And then finally, setting a goal that's too high, right? Set you want to be in a relationship, but it's going to go downhill, and you want to keep it alive, but you don't know what that goal is. Your goal is to be the perfect husband, but at the same time, because you keep failing at being the perfect husband or the boyfriend, you keep doing some dumb shit, and you turn into the kakadukis of the man of the year. And every time you buy a girl a gift and she says, "I don't care about you," you end up cheating on her as a consequence, as a payback, because your goal was to make this person happy, and when this person didn't appreciate what you did, you took it as in, "I'm gonna have to make. You know what? I gave up on that. I'm gonna make you pay." By finding love somewhere else or finding something that someone else appreciates, instead of me just understanding the situation at hand and working through that. And now, I'm now let's go to today. At my age, we have failure, and now there's failure, but there's different levels of failure. So let's say I just started playing the piano for lo-fi music, right? And that was 2 years ago. I said, well, actually 3 years ago, since the pandemic, and I decided that I was going to practice playing the piano like a piece of crap, and I was gonna get better with time. It's been 3 years, and I think I could play some type of notes. I don't know freaking music notes. I can't. I'm not. I wasn't born with that gift. I'm just practicing my butt off to understand just the basic sound that I hear and replay it, and then make my own version because my creativity is running off the roof, and I need to do something with my hands. You know what I mean? Therefore, I keep practicing my piano lessons, and it's just on my own. I refuse to take piano lessons because I do not understand music and I don't want to get lessons anyway. I just want to do it the same way I did with basketball. Just it'll take me 50 years. It'll give me something to do because I'm a Shawshank life. I'm gonna take it easy because there's many goals that I have set, but I set small goals. Small goals. My goals are minute, and each time I do one, then I move up to the second one. I'm not gonna become a billionaire, so I'm gonna try to become uh, somewhat. I want to own at least 5 houses. That is the goal before I die. We're going to work on it. We're going to figure out a way. I just got to put myself in the predicament to be able to buy those houses, right? And this all intertwines with all the other episodes where you want to put yourself in a predicament to succeed, and accept, and also do not worry about regretting anything you did because that was part of the past. Now is the future, and now you understand all the shitty things you did or everything you did that was a mistake. Go move forward. But today, to round up everything, and I'm just gonna have one more sip because you're not a failure. Just remember that you're never a failure, no matter how many times you go to jail. Failure creates optimism. It creates life. You don't know how far you could go unless you know how low you could go. So don't be afraid of failure. I lost that fear a long time ago, and that's part of the reason why I feel like I could reach close to failure. I could get close. I could like no lick it because I'm not afraid of it. I'm like I could bounce back from that anytime because I want to push it because I know how low I can go to catapult myself up again. With that said, I want everyone to understand it is not a bad idea to set goals that are too high. Just remember that it's smarter not to set them too crazy high. You know what you can do. And that level, you could go a little bit further up. And if you could do that, don't try to touch a 10-foot rim if you can only jump 6 feet high. You know, just work it, work on it. And there's probably never a reason why you should even try to touch a 10-foot rim when you're never going to reach more than 6.5 feet high. So understand your limitations. But with that said, in life, you should not feel like you have any limitations. Any limitations you have is based on your economy, your culture, blah blah blah. But don't worry. Sometimes you can overcome it, and there's one of a million that can do it. But in and on average, you get any goal. Don't set them too high, just enough that you could keep gaining and gaining and gaining on it. Because if not, You're going to be back at the bottom. You're going to feel horrible because you don't know how to bounce back. Just be brave. Have the balls to know that if you fail, you come back up and be happy and thank God because God is key in all of this. Thank God that you were able to fail and thank God that you're going to go up again because remember, God is not just remember that another thing. God is not always just when you're at the top. People always remember God when they're at the bottom. They're just like, God, help me. But God is at the top. So when you're at the top, you try to, and the way you do this is because when you're at the top, you just remember, you try to worry about everybody else is at the bottom. You got to try to help people climb up. If you don't help people climb up, then you're going to be the biggest asshole. And you're going to pay for that. Because God gave you an opportunity. And maybe God didn't make it to you. You didn't see it, but there were certain things that happened in life that led you to climb that ladder. Somebody, some people, some situation. You might have done it by taking advantage of people, but still, you made it up because of people. So you try to bring people up all the time. And with that said, once you build your fundamentals, your foundations, your ground, you're strong, your legs, make them strong so you carry all the weight. You'll be established. You'll be great. So take care, guys. I hope this video lasted. Last time I did like 5 times, it didn't work. But I'm gonna drink my Pedialyte, try to get better because allergies suck balls. Have a great one.